here we are with some more Cinderella phenomenon. Last time I got super fired up because I thought me and Rumple were finally gonna make out, but instead he made a dumb joke and we didn't, and I'm mad. I'm not that mad, but I'm a little mad. I'm excited to keep going and see what happens next, so let's get cracking. Chapter 8, Chevallier. Chevalier? Something like that. Today I'm outside by myself. I think if Parfait or Delora knew, they would do worse than scold me. I shuffled uncomfortably as I sit at the little cafe Bria told me to wait for her at. A part of me is already convinced that she will not come. When I wrote her that letter asking for Rumple's journals and she responded so easily, I was a little suspicious, but this is really the one chance I have. The only chance I'll have at what? Bria appears in front of me, not looking altogether unpleased, but still not smiling. Nothing. I do not like her, but I will have to play nice if I want to get Rumple's journals back. Ooh. Thank you for meeting me out here. Bria takes a seat in front of me, her expression still flat. Ruff, 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 ruff. The dogs are going crazy. Her expression's still flat. You asked me in your letter why I was refusing to speak to Rumple, and then you told me you wanted to meet with me to find out why. You want the journals too, don't you? She reaches into a bag and pulls out a few journals that I assume are Rumple's. Oh! Give me the journals. I want them. So she does have them. I know in your eyes I must seem the villain, but I'm not the only one at fault in this relationship. Years ago, when I met Rumple, he was, as he is now. I'm interested to see, what did he do? Flirtatious, charming, over the top. And yet his compliments still made my heart soar. Ooh, I like this music. His compliments may be shallow, but Rumple is far from it. I pined after him for years. He was learning medicine, and I was studying to take over my mother's sewing shop. In the first years that I knew him, Rumple was always complimented my work, even though it was nothing special. He insisted we do trade-offs. When we started dating, he would offer me flowers and trinkets, and in exchange, I would sew him some article of clothing. I can see he's still wearing the scarf that I made him. That scarf was from Bria? Oh my gosh! We fell in love. Rumple became a changed man, more serious. He became a doctor, and I opened up a shop. We were supposed to have a fairy tale ending, but her expression falls again as she looks absently down at the table. We saw in each other ideals that didn't exist. Love can be shallow, or it can be deep. I felt our love was deep, but in truth, I only ever knew the very surface of Rumple. The surface? I saw his kindness, his charm, and his drive to do what was right. But then as time went on, I also saw what they meant. The world is a place where only the strong survive. People are kind, but they will take advantage of those who are too caring. Those sound like Mother's words. I shudder as I think about Mother's pessimism, the same kind that lies in me. It is a realistic way of looking at the world, but it is also so dismal and cloudy that it is impossible to see any light within it. Rumple helped a lot of people. Many of them were wonderful people, and I was always happy to see him do so much. But then, he started putting other people above himself, and because we lived together, that meant me as well. Somehow, he must have made a deal with the devil. He might some kind of terrible price that had to be paid, and that's why he's got the Rumpelstiltskin curse. Maybe it sounds petty to you, but no woman wants to live in poverty. Oh, it was just about money? I look at her skeptically. In the back of my mind, I remember the convenience of luxury, so much money. I then recall the feeling of living poor on the streets and flinch. We had a house, and we had a reputation, but Rumple refused money most of the time. He helped lots of poor people, but he also dried out our wallets. Whenever I brought it up to him, he would smile, as if that could get rid of all of our problems. He made a name for himself as a doctor who helped the poor for minimal money, sometimes for free. And even when I told him we needed more money, he put other people first. He was so selfless that he became selfish. And I told him before that he should have accepted money, that he needed it. So selfless, he became selfish. Okay, I see that. I had to go behind his back and find payment. What I was making wasn't enough. So I went to find his patients and tried to ask for payment. I became almost like a beggar. Can you imagine my humiliation? Rumple put his patients before Bria. I was convinced he didn't love me, and my love dwindled for him. Our relationship became strained. Bria goes on to explain the events that happened before her and the nobleman. He was one of Rumple's patients, and when she went to ask him for the money he had originally offered, the two of them became intimate. It was short-lived, and when the nobleman left her behind, Bria had to deal with a soured reputation. I wanted to make it up to Rumple. I thought I could salvage this relationship, maybe even start over and teach him what was right. I don't know about that, my friend. Seems like you both need to learn some things, but that is not my place. She sighs deeply and then gestures at me. I share blame in all of this too, but so does Rumple. That's why I've decided to let this all go. Whatever he does now, you'll have to deal with, because you're his partner, right? Bria hands me the bag of journals. Don't look so surprised. You came here for these, not to listen to me. I thought on it last night, and I have no reason to keep them around when they'll just continue to make me bitter. I'll have to rely on myself for a while, but that's fine. Sometimes it's easier to keep to yourself than to trust others. She moves to stand up, but I surprise myself by reaching out to grab her hand. Bria, I don't need your pity. I thought the same thing. What? I still think the same thing. It is so much easier to close the world off. It is so much easier to trust no one but yourself, but it should also be a balance. That is what Rumple has taught me. And I want to teach him how to have balance too. You? You're falling for his kindness the same way I did. You fell in love with him even though you told yourself he was shallow and unrealistic. My heart thumps once, loudly in my chest. Love? I can read it right off your face. I know how it feels too, but don't get wrapped up in an ideal, little girl. That is my warning. If you can help him, actually help him, then you're meant to be together. But otherwise, trusting Rumple might only break your heart. I am not a little girl. I know how to be realistic. My words trail off as I look at her helplessly. Bria surprises me by speaking up quietly. Thank you for listening to me. She pulls her hand away and slowly smiles at me. It's the first honest smile I've seen on her face. I feel something warm at my chest. Another good deed! Another good deed! Another good deed! Yes! I feel something warm at my chest, and then a bright light emanates from my necklace. A good deed. For listening to Bria, or... I glance down at the bag of journals, then at my necklace. Oh, I'm so excited. Another good deed. Another good deed. I touch the pendant. The new piece brings a brief smile to my lips. I have 2 good deeds now. Only one more, and I can break my curse. Magic. Is this another fairy tale curse? Yes. Your name was April, wasn't it? Rumple talked about you fondly. I hope that the both of you break your curses. Good luck. Bria walks away, leaving me by myself in the town square. My mind swirls with everything that she just told me. I still cannot bring myself to like Bria, but I feel more closure now. I like Bria. I like her character development. She went from just being kind of like a jealousy villain thing that I was like someone I was supposed to be jealous of to much more three-dimensional. I mean, of course I don't agree with her with everything she says, but it's fascinating the idea of like, yeah, she wasn't the only one in the wrong. We've all been in relationships that don't work for one reason or another, and sometimes you do really crappy things, but sometimes it's because someone else did something crappy too. That's rough. But now something new plagues my mind. How could I fall in love with someone like Rumple? Ah, she's admitting it. She's in love. Okay, the more I say it, the more it becomes a certainty, but rather than fill me with joy, it only makes me more confused. I cannot think about this now. I turn on my heels to head back and bump promptly into a man. Oh! Who are you? Wait, yellow eyes? That looks a lot like Fritz. Oh, sorry, madame. He smiles at me and then keeps walking. I stare after him, feeling slightly uncomfortable. I haven't seen Fritz yet in a long time. I think Fritz and Rod. I haven't seen either one of them in a very long time. With the mask and cloak, the man reminded me of a performer. I make my way back to the Marchant with a bag full of journals, still struggling to keep my mind from wandering. Every time I think about Rumple being so close to me, or his kindness toward me, I feel jittery inside. Despite everything that Bria said, I cannot stop these feelings. These feelings are annoying. I feel you, girl. Yet even as I think that, I know that is not the full truth. Do I really? I hear the Marchant door opening and out steps Waltz. The minute he sees me, his eyes widen and he runs toward me. Princess, where were you? I was running an errand. What happened? I hold up the bag, but it does little to ease Waltz's frustration. We were all looking for you and we got worried that the witches had found you. Rumple already went out into town. What? I'll go. Please, Princess, stay inside. His expression softens somewhat until all I can see on his face is worry. I'll go get Rumple. Oh my god, what's wrong? What's happened? My mood feels completely dashed as I enter the Marchant to whispers, both relieved and disappointed. Surprisingly, I get away with just a lecture from Delora and Parfait. It seems as if something else is on their mind, something that most likely involves the rumors circulating around town. I wait downstairs for a long time for Rumple, but neither him nor Waltz appear. Where are they? I retire to my room later as I wait for news. Waltz eventually returns, saying that Rumple is still out because he had things he wanted to do. I have no idea what that means, but it unsettles me. Should I go find him? Yes, absolutely. I stand and stop for a few moments to look at the bag of journals beside my bed. And here I was looking forward to giving these journals to him. I feel like my voice is getting quicker because I'm just that nervous. I make my way toward the door, turn the knob, and then walk outside. Princess. Before I can even think about saying anything, I feel his warmth envelop me and I freeze. One of his hands moves to the small of my back, where it remains as he smiles down at me. I caught you just in time, my feisty sweet. Did you plan on escaping into the dead of night again? Well, of course I did the right thing. What was I gonna do? Stay in my room, act like a bump on a log? Have words abandoned you in the wake of my dramatic appearance? I hurriedly pry myself away with a little gasp. A few steps back and I can see him in full, and I notice the bouquet he carries. I'm glad to see you back, Princess. I'm only sorry that I couldn't make it back here any faster. I had a few errands of my own to run in town. Rumple holds out the bouquet with a glittering smile. Like buying these flowers for the girl I really like, for instance. Aww! I stare down at the beautiful bouquet made up of white lilies, but the appearance slowly leaves my mind as I think of what Rumple just said. He bought them for a girl he likes. Not for me. You are an idiot, Princess. An idiot! My heart feels as if it might be pierced through with something sharp. My breath escapes my throat, but I cannot bring myself to inhale again. Rumple looks at me in alarm. April. I nudge him out of the way and walk past him. What a dummy! You're so dumb! I make my way to the reception area, where I collapse onto one of the couches and sit, staring blankly at the walls. The feelings inside of me are too much all at once. I tell myself they do not make any sense, and that the way I reacted to what Rumple said was pitiful, and yet I still cannot stop myself from feeling small. April! I sink into the couch and close my eyes, willing away the sound of my rapidly beating heart and the tears stinging the edge of my eyes. I am not weak. I will not cry. Mother told me, "Oh, but you're already crying. Look at your little, oh." But the thought of Mother makes the tears worse, and soon I am sinking even further into the couch, trying to hide my tear-stained face in my hands. Mother, Bria, they both said the same things. They both see the bad in people, and I too have seen the bad in them. When I was on the streets, no one in Angiel showed me kindness. People will never show you kindness unless there is something in it for them. They will never... I feel sudden warmth as arms wrap around me. I recognize this sensation, the warmth, the comfort. It is all so comforting, so soothing. Aww. I must be the worst person in the world. To make such a beautiful lady cry is a sin that I must atone for. My body stiffens, but I do not pull away. I listen to the sound of his heartbeat against my ear, and slowly but surely, my crying dies away. My eyes are sore by the time I finally manage to still the tears. I feel drowsiness descend upon me like a blanket, but I will not fall asleep. Slowly I pry myself from the arms holding me. Hello, my love. I messed up again, didn't I? I do not see the bouquet in his hands, but a journal. One of the journals I brought back for him from Bria. You're capable of a lot more good than I am, Princess. Just look at this. He reaches out and touches my necklace. I glance down at it. Oh. You got my journals back for me. I saw them in your room. And I feel it, that this one, the most recently dated one, is the one that I need to unlock my final memory. Oh my god, we're gonna see it! I grasp the second, incomplete glass slipper around my neck and breathe out softly. Then this really is from retrieving Rumple's journals for him. I got a good deed for finally doing something good for Rumple. Would you allow me to read it with you? He reaches out and gently brushes a tear from my face. You did all of this for me, and you barely know anything about me. That makes both of us. If you wouldn't mind, I want to read out this entry for you. Oh my gosh, that's dangerous. I nod, even though I should be shaking my head. Even though I should still be hurt. I cannot stay mad at Rumple. On this night, I am a poor man. Everything that is precious to me has been stolen away by the witch. Rumple's voice catches in his throat as he stares at the words. I look over his shoulder at the journal. Witch. Was he already cursed when he wrote this? Oh. But I have no one to blame but myself. Bria told me before that I would suffer from my selflessness, and so now I find myself here. And now, because of that same selflessness, Bria is sick, and I cannot save her. Bria is sick! There is only one thing left to do. I have wronged Bria in so many ways, and now I will give anything it takes to save her. No matter what the price the witch asks, I will pay it. I only hope that Bria can forgive me before she leaves. I will write again when the witch has left. I swear that after today I will change for good. I will not ask the witch to perform any more miracles. Rumple's finger goes to the page where he softly touches a single word. His eyes have the glazed look in them that they have before, and I can tell his memories are snapping back together. For tonight, good night, and may tomorrow be a better morning. Oh my god, he gave up his memories to save Bria. I read the last word, a name and a signature. Rumple reads it aloud slowly. Chevallier Dumont. Oh man, your name is Chevallier. He looks up at me, his eyes forlorn, and then with sadness he speaks. I think that's how you pronounce it, because I'm pretty sure that's how they pronounce it in Dragon Age, but not 100% sure. I'll look it up after and pronounce it right from here on in if I'm doing it wrong. He looks up at me, his eyes forlorn, and then with sadness he speaks. That's right. It is so strange. It is just a different name, and yet it seems to change him completely. I remember everything now. I was given the Rumpelstiltskin curse because I sacrificed too much. First it was the boy, the one we saw in the market. I struck a deal with a woman to save him, the witch doctor. A witch. He mentioned striking a deal with a woman, but a witch? I don't have the ability to heal. None of us do, except for one particular witch who calls herself the witch doctor. Witch? Doctor? Is something wrong? That name just sounds familiar. The witch doctor. Oh, it's back to calling him Rumple again. It's no wonder I recognize the name, but yes, it was her. She promised she could heal the boy, but for a price. I had to give her a family heirloom, my family's stethoscope. All magic comes with a price. Next, it was a nobleman. I could not help him, so he lay in his bed, dying. The witch visited again, and I gave her what she asked for. What did you give her? My engagement ring. Ugh. Bria found out. She told me she'd never forgive me. And then she chased the nobleman to ask for the money we desperately needed, and, well, you know the rest. He gave away things that were precious to him, all to help those people. Then Bria got sick. I made one last deal with the witch because I was desperate to save her life. But it wasn't until after she healed Bria that she told me what she wanted. She wanted your memories. I don't remember what happened exactly. I think I panicked because I suddenly lost my memories. I ran out into the alleys, bumped my head on something, fell unconscious, and then I woke up here in the tavern, and I had no idea who I was or how I had gotten cursed. Rumple. Chevalier's expression grows more somber. I deserved to be cursed after everything I had done. I was so selfish. An idealist maybe, but I hurt Bria because I refused to see reality. I still deserve to be cursed, actually. But why? Because I am still selfish. Even having remembered everything that made me a bad person, I still desire something. Someone I shouldn't have. It's me. My heart plummets again as he looks at me. I still want so badly to forge a future with someone I don't deserve. Because what am I other than a poor doctor? I'm no knight in shining armor, and I'm no prince. He puts a hand on my cheek and leans closer to me. The distance between us closes in mere seconds. But still I keep on dreaming because his fingers gently caress my cheek, and suddenly I know what he is going to say before he says it. I love you. But I'm not. Whether you are Rumple or Chevallier, you are the same person. You do not need to be a knight or a prince. Look at her cute, she's so blushing. He accepted me for who I was, and he still does. Mother told me that humans were untrustworthy, but Chevallier smiles at me, and he puts his other hand on my back and pulls me closer. The smile is so genuine and so gentle. The same smile I have grown to love. It's a kiss! Whatever words I had been meaning to say die in my throat as he leans forward and gently places his lips on mine. I feel more grounded than I have ever felt before, but I also feel like I am flying. I set my hands on his chest and flex my fingers into his shirt. He runs his fingers gently down my face, then down the length of my neck. The kiss feels too short, yet I am still breathless when Chevallier pulls away from me, just enough so that I can see his eyes. I love you, my sweet your smile, for your laugh, for the way that you look out for other people. You're bold and feisty, and you remind me of a firework. You're beautiful, inside and out. The compliment warms my heart in a way that makes me feel like it might be melting. He reaches behind him and holds out the bouquet from earlier. These are for you. You like lilies, don't you? I take the bouquet from him and bring it to my nose. These have always been my favorite flower. How did you know? Chevallier grins at me, and it is so similar to his previous smiles that I know he must not have changed. The first time I gave you that white chocolate flower, your eyes lit up. I figured out that Chevallier was perceptive before, but the bouquet in my hands feels all the more meaningful now. Princess, I swear that I want to try and change. For you. You should do it for yourself, too. Myself? You should spoil yourself more, too. You always give to others, but you don't take for yourself. Now you know what you did, and you can change things. If Bria can, then so can I. Bria? I went and spoke to her when I was in town today, while I was getting the bouquet as a gift for you. We had to talk about moving on. I didn't understand it fully, and I don't think she did either, but we both agreed that we should. So I'm going to change what I can, Princess. And I promise that I'm going to help you break your curse, just as you helped me break mine. All the good things I have done are for you. That's true. But you've done a lot of other good things too, even if they may not be big enough to count for your 3 good deeds. It just so happens that your curse is very picky. Oh, look at that. Good things. Even though I'm still curt and say more hurtful things than not. I finger the necklace in thought. Maybe Chevallier is right. Maybe I have changed. And it is a good thing. I sit close to Chevallier as the night goes on. He tells me a little bit about his past, and I tell him about mine. About Mother and the palace. The night is not one for advice, just listening. And I remember what Chevallier told me once, that listening can be just as meaningful as advice, that listening to others can help you understand them. And he was right. Oh my goodness. Princess, are you okay? Better than okay. I had a makeout sesh last night. What up? Oh, if it isn't the princess? Are those dark circles under your eyes from a romantic night out? Ooh! You were out with someone last night? No, they are from being woken up early by Delora to do chores. Delora grins at me from the other side of the bar, but says nothing as she goes back to a conversation with another boarder. Ah! Darling, you're no fun at all. You must tell me what happened last night. Last night? Did you like the bouquet? How do you know about the bouquet? Why, because it was my suggestion. When Chevallier was asking Karma for advice, it was about me. Oh. Look at the way she smiled, Denise. Last night must have gone well. I'm confused. What happened last night? I'm gonna go get Rumple to give me all the juicy details when he comes downstairs. That is Chevallier to you. Chevallier appears before Karma, smiling. He seems a lot calmer today than usual. He glances over Karma at me, and we catch each other in a silent gaze. Seeing his eyes reminds me of last night, which makes me inadvertently flush. Chevallier just winks at me. Chevallier? What's that? Something you say when a person sneezes? No, that's his name. Rumple, that is. Chevallier broke his curse yesterday. There is a stunned silence from everyone in the immediate area. Even Delora walks over to us. What's this about a broken curse? Was it you, Rumple? He's going by something that sounds like a fancy cake. Parfait seems to be bursting with excitement. Though she is her usual calm self on the outside, I can tell by the bounce in her step and by the way she raises her voice to make an announcement that she is proud. When everyone has learned that Chevallier has broken his curse, People come to the table offering drinks and congratulations. Chevallier gets lost in the crowd, mostly of women, but much to my surprise, Chevallier does not flirt back with any of them. And then, in between our celebrations for Chevallier, the front door to the Marchant opens, and Waltz rushes inside.
Where are Delora and Lady Parfait? I need to speak to them immediately.
Waltz, you're just in time. We're all...
Something has happened at the palace.
The room goes quiet at Waltz's proclamation. A few people shift uneasily in their chairs. Some try to go back to conversation. Most people do not care what happens in the palace, but they can tell by the tone of Waltz's voice that it is bad. What's happened at the palace?
An uprising.
Oh, what?
A coup, staged by witches. Witches have taken over the palace.
The information is so sudden it makes me dizzy. I reach out to grab the table, and my hands land on the wood before I can slip. Witches have taken over the palace. An army of them.
No, only a few.
Jurian strides across the room, followed quickly by Garland. What's this about witches taking over? We have some of the best knights at the palace. There is no way witches could break in under the palace's guard.
Unless they have someone on the inside helping them.
Alcaster?
No. Myth.
Who are we talking about? Mithros?
You know him as Mithros. He uses a different name now.
Sir Mithros, the king's advisor? He's a witch? There's no way Mithros is a witch. We would have known.
Glamour. He used a glamour.
Everything Waltz says suddenly gets swallowed up in questions. Jurian and Garland ask question after question while others start surrounding Waltz to ask him what has happened to the king and his children. I try to step closer to listen, but I cannot hear over the frantic voices in the room. Sir Mithros. I never trusted him, but I never thought he would be a witch. The room only quiets down when Delora and Parfait come to punctuate the conversation with their own demands for everyone to give Waltz space. The Marchant boarders are all taken into the reception room, where Waltz stands at attention, waiting to answer questions. He explains that he was looking into a rumor about Sir Mithros from only a few days ago, when he found out about the witches' uprising.
It was a surprise attack, orchestrated by Mithros, who let the witches in through a secret entrance to the palace. Alcaster was killed during the uprising. Many knights were injured and are currently being tended to in clinics and hospitals around the town.
After his explanation, I feel even worse than I did in the main room. I stare at Waltz, at a loss. What of Fritz?
Fritz?
Sir Alcaster's son, Fritz Gerald. He was my personal knight. If Sir Alcaster was killed during the uprising, where did that put Fritz? Was he working with Sir Alcaster or with Sir Mithros? Did he escape?
I'm sorry, Princess. I haven't heard anything about a knight named Fritz Gerald.
But you know I just saw him on the street earlier. Was he... Oh, I'm excited to do his route. Was he killed? The thought makes my heart plummet. No, Fritz could not possibly be dead. I have to believe that he is still alive. I feel Chevalier's hand on my shoulder, briefly before it slides off. Are any of the king's knights remaining in the palace?
If they are, they've either been forced to turn against the king or they've been killed.
Is Mithros sitting on the throne?
No, he usurped the king, but he hasn't taken the throne.
Waltz turns to me and his expression softens.
Princess, feel free to ask me whatever you want. I'm sorry I didn't answer all of your questions earlier.
I have so many questions, but I suppose I will ask them one at a time. Oh my god, okay. I'm guessing I can pick all of these. What has happened to the king and the others?
I'm not sure. From what I've heard, the king and his family, your family, are still alive.
Oh, I never cared for any of my step-family, but hearing that they are okay is still relief.
Mithros may be keeping them prisoner for now.
What is the glamour Sir Mithros used? Delora steps in to answer the question. A glamour is a high-level magic used to conceal one's identity. It even keeps other witches from sensing you. Parfait cast the same magic on you shortly after you came to the tavern. It was to protect you from the evil witches. Ugh! A glamour can only be conjured by powerful witches. It sounds as if this witch has been using a glamour to hide himself from others. Do you know Mithros?
It was a long time ago. We both shared the same teacher.
Teacher? Wait. Waltz, are you
a witch? Yeah.
Mind blown. Did not see that coming.
He smiles at me, but it is weak and does not reach his eyes. Myth was always very competitive. I thought he had died at the end of the Great War, but he's been in the palace this whole time. His disguise is so simple. I should have realized his name was so similar, but...
You couldn't have helped it. That's what the glamour does to you.
Maybe if I wasn't cursed, if I had more of my magic, I would have been able to sense him.
Who claimed the crown?
As of right now, no one. The king's been kicked off the throne, and Mithros has made a public announcement about usurping the throne, but he does not call himself king.
Is he trying to win the throne over for someone?
Myth has no one left. He was obsessed with our teacher, but she is gone.
My mom?
Maybe he has different alliances now?
Parfait's eyes look distant as she stares dismally down at the ground.
If my curse were broken, I would charge in right now and destroy him.
Waltz's expression becomes so dark it sends a shiver through me. It isn't like Waltz to look so angry. We need to come up with a plan. Even if he weren't cursed, he would still not be able to defeat Mithros when he has other witches with him. Witches are trickier to handle. Can't just be plunged through with a sword, eh? I agree with Karma. If all of us go in with swords and shields, we should be able to take the palace back. This is what we've been practicing for. Practicing? Even witches will die if you stick a sword through their heart, won't they? But getting to a witch who knows you're there is difficult. I must do something. I want to help. Be bold. Chevallier wraps his fingers around my wrist and frowns. Princess. This whole time I have been living at the Marchant. I was spared the fate of the royal family by sheer coincidence because I was cursed. I cannot just sit here and do nothing while the kingdom falls to a witch. It fell to witches before, and there were dire consequences. I cannot continue to be passive. I will not let myself be like Mother. Princess, I am April Riella Britton, the crown princess of Anchiel, and I will not stand by and watch while the kingdom is in turmoil. The room goes quiet at my statements. Chevalier's fingers loosen on my hand. I see the ghost of a smile on his face, though it underlies his sorrow. Yeah! Spoken like a true princess. Yes! Whether or not you want to help, Princess, you really can't. You won't be able to use magic until your 18th birthday. That's when you become the bearer. I cannot let that stop me. I will find a way. The conversations in the room continue for a long while. At some point, it is said that volunteers are needed at the hospitals and clinics for the injured soldiers. Chevallier immediately volunteers. Only afterward does he look at me with regret. Princess, I'm sorry. For what? For putting my job before you, and after all I just said, he told me he was going to try his best to change. Bria called him selfless for putting his work before her, but you would be a fool not to. My life is not in any danger, and there are people who need you more than I do. Do what you do best, Chevallier. Princess April, I promise you I will do whatever I can to help you as well. As the meeting disbands, I am left standing there in quiet. The last to leave is Waltz, who promises me that he will make things right. I am going to trust everyone, but I'm also not going to stand idle. I will make things right. Somehow. As is my responsibility as Crown Princess. Ho! Yes! Okay, we're ending it here, but I am pumped. Oh my god, I'm so excited to keep playing this. Oh my god, that last scene, I was like so into it. Man, okay, so number 1, make out sesh with Rumple, living it. Number 2, name is Chevallier. Definitely gonna look that up, make sure I'm pronouncing it right for the next one. Number 3, oh my god, here we go. We're gonna storm the palace. Ah, I'm ready. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to follow me on all the relevant social medias that I'm linking below. Subscribe, comment, like. I just have been noticing lately I have people saying things like ring the bell for notifications. So do that too. Or not, whatever you want. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.